Hallo, guten Tag. This is not what I sound like. My words sound very different. Hello. Much better. So, what are we talking about today? Oh yes, can we really beat sin? Can we? Short answer, we don't need to. Jesus already did. All we need to do is throw out our amnesia and remember he already fought the fight and he won. But there's another question. What do you mean he won? He won back in the day 2000 plus years ago. How is he going to win now when I face temptation, when I encounter sin? Good question. In order to answer that, we'll have to look at the 3 P's that I had mentioned in my intro video. If you haven't seen that already, I'll put a link in the description and also float it at the end of this video. But just a quick recap, in order for us to attain perfection, we need the 3 P's that come before it: passion, provision, practice. So let's address those in the order to understand today's answer to our question. Passion. Well, we need to fall in love with Jesus. And not in the way, oh, I go to church, I love Jesus. Nah. But in the way that what he did for you is so special that you cannot return the favor in any other way but love. You might ask, oh, I want to fall in love with Jesus, but how do I do that? Firstly, you need to believe everything that he did for you is true. Once you do that, there is no way we cannot love him. We can talk about a million reasons why we should love Jesus, but honestly, there's just one that beats them all. That he came and he died for you and me. We can debate on which one of Jesus' miracles was the greatest, but in all honesty, the greatest miracle is that he loved us. You know, Jesus allowed himself, right, to be killed. He could have stopped them. He could have stopped everything and prevented it and not gone through with it. But he still did. His love for us was what was most important. The reason why reciprocating this love is core, because when you love Jesus, you want to do things for him. You want to listen to him. You want to spend time with him. You don't want to hurt him. That is why passion is important. It makes things that are difficult possible. Now that you're in love with him, then you've crossed the biggest milestone. So we head down to the second point, which is provision. The provision we are talking about here is grace. We need grace. Without it, we are unable to do anything, especially when it comes to dealing with sin. So where do we get grace? Well, that's like asking, where do I get a McChicken spicy? That burger is available at KFC. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, it's available at McDonald's. Likewise, we get the grace from God. We'll be talking a bit more about grace in the future, but for now, let's look at grace as a need to overcome sin. So grace overcomes sin. We get grace from God. But how do we do that exactly? You have a relationship with him. When you have a relationship with him, you just spend time with him and you ask him with a desire in your heart to give you grace. And he just does. That's how simple it is. In your personal prayer every morning, ask him, God, give me some grace to deal with sin today. Give me the grace to resist temptation. Talking about this gives us more clarity on why Jesus is the only answer. Because he's the one who told us how to pray. The Our Father. To quote, give us this day our daily bread. A daily necessity. Daily grace. Lead us not into temptation. It means don't let us fall into it. Or keep us away from it. More grace. Thing is, people usually feel that they need God when they face evil. Truth of the matter is, when you're close to God, evil is afraid to face you. And I mean real close. Let me illustrate this to you. Here. We can understand a little bit more about this with this just said. So let's get right into it. You see the pieces closest to the king? They're safe. Because as long as you stay close to the king, anything that tries to harm you will get eaten by the king. But when you do wander off, you expose yourself to danger. You see, in our world, the king stood in front and he died for us. And that's when everybody thought the game was lost. But at that moment, he rose from the dead and he restored all life to everyone. Not only that, he also ensured that if we stay close to him, we will always be protected. Well, this is just an example. As you can see, this king has very little amount of space around him for anyone to be close to him. But our king, our God, has enough space for each and every one of us to get real up and close and personal and build that relationship. Now, you are in love with Jesus, so passion is complete. You get into a relationship with God, and when you pray every morning, you ask Him for grace. Provision is complete. That just leaves us with the third one: practice. Tips and tricks time. But really, it's really helped me, and I'm sure it's going to help you too. I know it's a bit extreme for some, but seriously, sin is extreme enough. It's got to stop. We got to stop hurting Him when all He did is love us. So this is the practice that you need to go through. When you come face to face in temptation or realize that you're on the verge of sin, actively do this at that moment. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself looking at your left hand and you see this, a nail. Then you look at your right hand and you see this, a hammer. Then you look at Jesus with His arms stretched wide on that cross, and all He has to say to you is, I beat this for you because I love you. You'll see at that very moment, passion will surface, your love for Him will freeze up, and then your provision will rise within you, grace will overtake you, and you'll be able to drop that nail, drop that hammer, and you'll be able to get away from that temptation, from that sin. Like I said in the very beginning, He already defeated sin. It just takes you to remember it, grace to fulfill it, and love to empower it. I'm really not just rattling a bunch of words right now. This works. This week, do give it a try. Passion, provision, practice. It's time to get out of that grave. A little math before I end here. When you add this cross in between two numbers, you get one answer. When you add this cross in between two numbers, you get another answer. But if you add this cross anywhere, especially your heart, you get all the answers. Acknowledge Him in everything and He will make straight your paths, because He's the only way. He is the only answer. Until next time, stay awesome, stay blessed. Peace.